Alrighty everyone, so one thing that a lot of fans will really focus on when it comes to the Skywalker saga is how we've had a lot of hit and misses by Disney and Lucasfilm. There's no denying the fact here that a lot of fans had a lot of issues with The Last Jedi and even The Rise of Skywalker. Maybe not as bad as The Last Jedi's reception, but of course, The Rise of Skywalker, let's face it, could have been far better than how it was presented to the fans by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, as of right now, Disney and Lucasfilm, they're very much invested in developing this new expanded universe, if you will, this new universe that's really going to be a combination of books, novels, comics, video games, TV shows, whether it's animated or live action form, or you got the new trilogy and the spin-off films to arrive throughout this entire decade of 2020. Now, Bob Iger and Bob Chapek, they really want to make this franchise as successful as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And like I've said before in the past, it's going to be a very tough process to really get it to that level. And there's no denying the fact that now that we have Kevin Feige on board, handling the backbone of this new universe, and that we've also got, of course, George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni, as I like to call them, FFL, or LFF, all working together to really kind of form this alliance to really make Star Wars great as it once was, before, of course, Disney took over Lucasfilm. Now, looking at everything about the future here, we do know that, of course, this new Star Wars universe is going to be far larger than the old one that we got back in the 1990s and the early 2000s. Now, with that being said, with Disney and Lucasfilm now finished with the entire Skywalker saga, they are also focused on creating their own new Star Wars universe for the fans around the world to create a better future and to make it just as big as the MCU. Now, it's noted that Kathleen Kennedy no longer has creative control over any of the existing projects except for the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series for Disney+, in which they plan to release sometime in 2022 or 2023. Now, Kathleen Kennedy is described to be very angry with the Star Wars fans behind the scenes as the backlash over the plans for Leslie Headland's Star Wars TV series, of course, came into fruition. Now that Kathleen Kennedy no longer has any creative control over the new Star Wars projects in the early development phase, except for one, Bob Iger and Chapek have been actively developing plans in order to make Star Wars evolve into something more successful than ever before. As of now, they have over 10 years worth of Star Wars projects in the works for Disney Plus alone. However, behind the scenes, actor Mark Hamill has been very frustrated with the plans that were done by Kathleen Kennedy for the Rise of Skywalker's media. It's noted that a plan was made not too long ago by Kathleen Kennedy to release a special set of the sequel trilogy movies by sometime in 2021, next year, that would include more bonus features that would be released just before the new Star Wars films would release, which would depart from the Skywalker saga. Now, it's noted that Mark Hamill was very angry and frustrated with Kathleen Kennedy for approving that this special box set would still no longer include any of his deleted scenes as Luke Skywalker in the form of flashbacks and in the form of a Force Ghost and multiple different scenes that Kathleen Kennedy approved to be erased from the film before its release. So, let me just say this. I mean, there's really no denying the fact that Mark Hamill was very upset with how things turned out, not just for The Last Jedi by Rian Johnson, but also for The Rise of Skywalker, and how Kathleen Kennedy was the main problem of really deleting many of those scenes that really would have made the movie all the more better. You know, there's really no denying this. When we look at what Kathleen Kennedy did with The Rise of Skywalker, she went through two different phases of reshoots and rewrites that took out a lot of segments that included Palpatine, Snoke, even Anakin Skywalker and others like Obi-Wan Kenobi and more, even flashbacks of a young Luke, to which only one of them really made it to the final cut, where he is training a young Leia on the world of Endor. So, you can see the potential that The Rise of Skywalker really had, until Kathleen Kennedy really stepped in and changed everything for the worse. Now, Kennedy, however, is said to have been proud with her decision to not release the deleted scenes, as in her belief, of course, it would have spoiled the fans, if anything, and would make them look down on the film. Mark Hamill is actually described to have had big arguments with Kennedy over this important decision, and that Hamill felt it was a soulless decision on Kennedy's part. So, once again, guys, you know, this really seems like that Kennedy was afraid to release the deleted scenes because it would allow us to see the truth of what this movie was going to be by JJ and Chris Terrio at heart before Kathleen Kennedy said, no, 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 we're not doing that. We're doing something far different. And you're not using any of Colin Trevorrow's ideas, which is what JJ wanted to do. That is the one major thing that I think a lot of fans would have at least respected, because I'm sure that a handful of you guys out there have read the entire Duel of the Fates script, at least the first draft that was actually leaked not too long ago. You do get to learn exactly what, of course, he really wanted to actually throw into the Star Wars franchise. So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.